Hey y'all, sorry I looked a little tired and dry, but we had an emergency situation yesterday and I really didn't get no sleep. But anyway, I want to say this to y'all. When y'all go and decide to say I do or want to get married, I need y'all to understand everything that it entails. It ain't no fucking joke. It's past the rings and the weddings and the I do's. The shit gets real. Y'all understand me? Marriage gets real. And people always yell, oh, it's just a piece of paper. It ain't nothing. No, that piece of paper has a lot to do with a lot. I'm going to give you an example. So I had to take my husband to the urgent care because he had got sick yesterday. And the first thing they kept asking was, who is he to you? Who is he? Who are you? What's your name? Who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm such and such. I'm his wife. Oh, okay. Then you can stay in here and you can answer these questions. But imagine if I wasn't his wife, or I was just his girlfriend, or I was just his little friend that's been there for a long time. You wouldn't be able to have any say-so in that person's care or anything to do with that person's health. And when I tell y'all marriage is a lot, marriage is a lot. And y'all really got to think about it. Y'all really have to think about it, right? If you're going to be with somebody long term, you need to go and get that piece of paper. You need to go get that ring. You need to go get those things, because if anything ever pops off, you need to be able to make those decisions, those hard decisions, okay? You don't need his mama making those decisions. You don't need his kids making those decisions. You don't need his grandmama making those decisions. You don't need his daddy making those decisions. You need to be able to make those decisions for him, especially if you've been with somebody over 4 or 5 years. It's very important that you get that piece of paper if you've been with somebody for 4 or 5 years and you truly love him and want to be with him. And he's telling you, oh, it's just a piece of paper. No, it's not a piece of paper. It's past a ring. It's past a piece of paper. It's a contract that needs to be had, because it's important when it comes to medical or anything. Okay, let's get past that situation, because I don't want to make this video long because you hear my voice. Being a wife and a husband is more than a ring and more than a dress, more than a wedding. And people don't understand that. Y'all always see the glamorous videos of weddings. You see the glamorous videos of the rings. You see the glamorous videos of the dresses. You see all the happy times. But you don't see when the person is sick and you got to sit there and hold their hands. You don't see when finances are difficult and y'all got to work together. You don't see when the kids are acting up and we got to come together to make things work. You don't see the struggle times, because on social media, people only highlight their lives. They don't show you what marriage what it really is. Marriage is a partnership that you will have to be willing to work through. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's hard. So when you say that you do, you really going to have to mean that shit, because shit gets hard. It's times when your husband or your wife may be sick and you're going to have to make those tough decisions. It's going to be times that finances ain't easy for y'all. And you're going to have to figure out how you're going to feed these kids. There's going to be times where y'all trying to keep a roof over y'all head. There's going to be times where y'all not seeing eye to eye with y'all children's upbringing. So when you say that you do, make sure this is with the right person, because it's more than just it's more than dresses. It's more than a ring. It's a fucking forever partnership. It's forever friendship that you're going to be in forever, unless you get a divorce. But I want y'all to think about that stuff before you walk and say I do.
Hey, shout out to the content creator, man. This was beautifully said. And I like how she gave an example as well. So you can really get a different side of her as a wife and why it matters on actually officially being married, not just, walking down the aisle, but actually like getting that paperwork behind it too. And again, I know there's a different side to this marriage thing on people saying, it's just a contract, men are in the disadvantage, this and that. But situations like this just make more sense on why it matters when you are officially married. You know what I mean? And just to kind of like piggyback on what she was saying as far as when her husband got sick, how like when she walked in the room, they was like, well, hey, wait a minute, before we even get to discussing anything with this guy here, who are you? Right? And that's important. That kind of like taking her aback was saying, wait a minute, I'm the wife. And so, all right, well, cool. Come on in, right? And she said, hey, if I was anybody else, that man would be in there by himself. You see what I'm saying? Fighting for his life by himself. Going through his struggle by himself, trying to get over whatever he has going on medically by himself. But as she articulated, she's the wife. She's able to answer the questions to better help him in that situation of need, right? Like she said, hey, I was there holding his hand, because I'm the wife. And this is the part of the game where a lot of dudes who only see the negative side of marriage, why they're like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to get married. She's going to take my money. She's going to do this and that. They don't talk about the side, the men don't talk about the side of this angle here, where you want that woman in your corner. Hey, sometimes as men, we're going to be down and out, man. We go through things as well, medically, all that. And you don't want to be in that situation where you feel like you got to fend for yourself, man. That's when you want a strong woman behind you and say, man, you know what? Maybe you have kids at home. Man, that woman, she going to hold it down because she's a strong woman. And she can help me get back on my feet. But none of that is going to happen without no paperwork. For real, for real. You see what I'm saying? And so this is why I love marriage, man, because just, again, I try to give y'all a little bit of my personal life. I don't want to give too much because this YouTube, you know how people get down, right? But I will say this. It's important to be married because, like my situation, my wife had, probably, was it last year or a year and a half ago? She had a medical situation, right? I took a week off from work for vacation to help alleviate that, to help her with that process to make sure she was good. You see what I'm saying? And other family members and stuff came in and help as well. But just imagine, I remember us talking about it and she was just like, man, because there's other women who went through what she went through and she was down for a few weeks. You see what I'm saying? And we were just talking about just how you can imagine when women who are single going through her same situation. There were times as, she was going through her process, getting back on her feet where it was damn near like she almost was a baby, a newborn. You see what I'm saying? And so with me being there with her just helped the situation 10 times. I would do it again 30 more times because it's my wife, right? And so I can imagine if I'm down bad, I know she'd be in the same corner that I, was in her corner when she was going through her situation. So it's just a powerful thing to know that you can be there for somebody in their need because you have the paperwork behind it. You see what I'm saying? So listen, y'all can do what y'all want to do, man. But I'm always going to push and fight for people getting married. I just think it creates strong bonds for community, for family, for households, for generations. And, we've seen it work. We've seen it when it's working. And this is the crazy part about it. This is a new phenomenon with all these divorces and the conversations online about, hey, I hate marriage. I hate my husband. Like, I'm not going to say these conversations hasn't been had. But just the way that society's moving now away from the family dynamic, man, is really destroying the fabric of our society. And we need to get back to marriages. We need to get back to strong communities. We need to get back to strong households because that's going to raise the next generation to have a strong country. You follow me? If our men are weak, they create weak kids. They don't have strong communities where people are working together. We need leaders going forward. Men have always been in a leadership role. Women have always been the backbone of everything that men do. You follow me? But it starts from the matrimony, the bonding of a family. It's always been like that. And it's just now where we're currently at, man, we have to fight back. We have to fight to get that back to that standard of more people getting married. And this ain't just a black and white thing. Now, in the black community, it's definitely skewed where there are more, single mothers and, less marriages, more divorces. And we have to try to correct that. But again, I always preach to the men that it starts with us. Knowing how to vet the woman. And hey, they're gonna let me say this. At some point, it might have to be dudes getting some of these single women again. It may have, because out the wild is gonna be so saturated. I'm not gonna, because we know that as men, we know the ratio. It's like damn near 10, 15 to 1, right? And so if most of the women, if there's less men, right? Let's say it's less men and way more women, and there's a lot of single women with kids. If a man down the road, if a man is gonna want that family dynamic, it may be too tainted. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? When I say tainted, meaning like the ratio is tainted as far as how many single women are childless versus how many have children. You see what I'm saying? And hopefully, if they do decide to get with a woman, because listen, especially in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of guys getting with single mothers, right? But they didn't have 10 kids. You know what I'm saying? It was like they had one, early, it didn't work. They was young. They got caught up. You see what I'm saying? And they learned their lessons like, you know what? I got this kid, but I'm wiser now, right? I'm more mature now as a woman. Now, if I get into a relationship with a man, the child, I understand that dynamic and what to bring to the table with a man. Now who getting involved with me and my child. But now it seems like a man, if he get into a relationship with a woman with 2, 3 kids, not just one, most of them just have one. It's a situation where they don't allow that man to come in and help bring the covenant and the protection and the discipline to their kids in the household because they're not his kids. You see what I'm saying? That's an issue as well. But to not get too far away from the video topic, it's just so important to get married, man. I don't care what they say online, right? I know sometimes I'm being funny, but at the end of the day, I really mean well when I say we have to get back to the standards of being married, strong men, strong women, right? And coming together and bonding to build the fabric back together. We're so torn apart, man, this country, and it's just a shame. You know what I'm saying? So when I see it working for another couple, I'm rooting them on to keep it going. But again, this is the side that you don't see. So she articulated it right. She really broke it down to give y'all a different viewpoint. And like she said, a lot of people go online, they just post the good things. They post the highlights of their lives, but they don't show you the grind when somebody's sick, somebody injured, somebody fired from work. They don't show you all that, man. The kids acting up. Y'all at each other's throat when there's something going on, right? Trying to figure out rent, trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. You know what I'm saying? And y'all still make it out. Y'all still stick it through and make it work. So these are the conversations I love. I appreciate her as a content creator, sharing her side of it. And, yeah, man, I just want to put my take on it. So with that being said, I hope y'all got a lot of value. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video out for anybody who needs to hear this message. And until next time, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.